zucchini patch here. This is the untreated section of the crop. And with the check we're doing today, we did find quite a bit of Heliothis activity in the flowers of the zucchini. This is quite interesting. This is a zucchini flower, and there's been a Heliothis in there. You can see all the frass from the Heliothis. We can't actually find the grub, so this is evidence that the Heliothis go into flowers and then leave and find another feeding site. So if you've got an insecticide on the outside of the plant, if the grubs are moving around from flower to other feeding site, you can potentially pick them up. So this was sprayed about 10 days ago with Avatar Evo, 250 grams per hectare with wetting agent. We haven't detected any Heliothis grubs in the flowers. We saw some old feeding damage in the flowers, but it looks like the Avatar Evo has picked up those grubs as they've foraged. We're in the tomato block here, we're in the untreated. So the crop has just started flowering. There isn't any fruit on the crop at the moment. So the conundrum is, if you're seeing Heliothis eggs in the crop, how do you work out when to make a spray? So the key factor, I think, in that situation is to do the regular monitoring and to see what is happening with the development of the Heliothis eggs, and to also make an assessment on the beneficial insect activity in the crop, because that can all have a bearing on survivability of those eggs. Generally speaking, only 60% of all the Heliothis eggs that you see laid will produce a viable larvae. And then if you've got beneficial insects in the crop, they can do a significant job in reducing those egg numbers even further. So in the tomatoes we're seeing lady beetles and spiders. They would all be generalist predators on the Heliothis eggs. Trichogramma is also present in the Lockyer Valley, and they're obviously very good at parasitising Heliothis eggs. So I think the Trichogramma numbers, they would tend to peak sort of later in the summer. But the key thing is, when you're monitoring the Heliothis eggs, work out whether the eggs are going from white to brown or white through to black. If they're going to black, then they're getting parasitised by Trichogramma. The other thing to keep in mind is the crop stage. Actually, when the crop starts fruiting, that's when we need the robust, highly effective chemistry, products like Coragen. And Coragen has ovilarvicidal activity, so if you spray on a brown egg, when the larvae chews out of the egg, it will die before it chews on the skin of the fruit. So it's very important to keep effective chemistry like Coragen during the fruiting stage of the crop. And remember, we've only got 3 applications per crop per season, so you don't really want to be using a product like Coragen during this vegetative stage. Now, if you're worried about Heliothis, a product like Avatar Evo would be an effective option. The other consideration, additional pests, so if there's significant silverleaf whitefly pressure, for example, in the crop, as well as Heliothis, then a good option in that situation is Benevia, which has the cross-spectrum activity. The sweet corn is at the 8 true leaf stage. So we've got a Heliothis caterpillar pest here, which has been parasitised by a Microplitus wasp attached to the Heliothis larvae. So the wasp is draining all the energy from the Heliothis, so it reduces the damage on the sweet corn. And this here is a little Helicobacter omigera. So this is a medium, a large medium, and then this is a small Heliothis. And then these here, they look like Cucur pupae. So Cucur is a parasitoid wasp, and they parasitise fall armyworm. So that's a good sign. All this frass here is telltale of fall armyworm larvae. Over here we've got a second planting of sweet corn. So this is a very susceptible stage to fall armyworm. If you can have one egg mass laid on this plant, and then the hatchlings will disperse by wind or crawl onto these adjacent plants and just completely eat them out. So it's at this crop stage that you have to be really alert for fall armyworm. So the key thing on this younger sweet corn is to monitor it on a regular basis. I'm looking for evidence of fall armyworm egg lays or chewing activity, and then make the necessary management decisions. See you next week.